Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to welcome everyone back, and I want to apologize for my absence. I had a job, and that's just a whole nother story. But anyway, today I want to be talking about salvation. So, what is salvation? Here and there, I would hear people say, "You need to get saved," or "Jesus offers salvation." So for me personally, I would hear the word saved and salvation. But in my mind, I still wondered about the true meaning. What were they talking about? What what does it mean to be saved and or salvation? So no one ever had a clear answer. Everyone I turned to seems to have the same answer, that Jesus saves and that we need salvation. But the question still stuck in my head. What is salvation? So eventually I gave up on asking people. But I did not give up on my belief. I still believed that someday God would show me. And finally, after some time, God did give me an answer. And like I said before, the answer did not come overnight. It took a couple years. But God gave me an answer. And that answer came through His Word. That answer took me back to the beginning, to the book of Genesis. So instead of flipping pages through my Bible, I'm going to be reading from my Bible app. Genesis chapter 1, verses 2 says, "The earth was without form and void and darkness." So it says the earth is without form and void and darkness. Before God showed up, there was only void and darkness. In other words, emptiness. So the darkness was already there. So imagine walking into a dark room. Usually, we do not enter a room unless we can see. Otherwise, we're going to be falling all over the place. So the room is already dark. Until what? Until we turn on the light. So if we go to Genesis 1:3, then God said, "Let there be light." So if God had to turn on the light, then that means the darkness was already there. It was already dark. There was no light. Until what? Until God brought the light. So why am I talking about darkness and light? Because it plays a role in our salvation. If we go over to the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 16, it says, "The people who sat in darkness." Stopping right there, we know that the darkness is already there. And Matthew 4:16 tells us that people are sitting in that darkness. So looking back at the book of Genesis, there was nothing but darkness until God showed up and turned on the light. So unless God shows up in our lives, then we are sitting in complete darkness. Going back to the question, what is salvation? With the two verses that I brought up, it makes sense that salvation is the light. Why? Because people are sitting in darkness. In that darkness, we don't know why things are happening. We don't understand who we are, why we are here. We don't even have a purpose in our life because we are sitting in darkness. So, up to this point, we know that people are sitting in darkness. I repeat that because I want people to understand that they are in darkness. Plus, the Bible refers to the unbelievers as being lost. And why are they lost? Because they are in the dark. People can't see. They don't know what's happening or why things are happening. Well, it brings us back to the question, can we be saved? We go to the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verses 16, and this time I'm going to read the whole thing. It says, "The people who sat in darkness have seen a great light." So we know that the darkness already exists, and that people are sitting in that darkness, and God has to bring the light. So Matthew 4:16 says, "The people who sat in darkness have seen a great light." Now what does that mean, seeing a great light? Who or what is this light? If we go to the book of John, chapter 8, verse 12, says, "Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light." So now we know that Jesus is that great light. The great light for those who are sitting in darkness. So going back to the question, what is salvation? Why do we need to be saved? We need to be saved from the darkness. People don't understand. They are sitting in darkness. They don't realize they are lost in the dark. And I'm not talking about physically. Anyone can go, the sun's going to shine. You can be sitting in a dark room and turn on the light, but spiritually, we are without form. We are void, and it's dark. And people don't realize they are searching for the light. But God's word lets us know that God has to bring the light. And it's true, if you think about it. Without the sun, the earth would be dark. Yeah, there's electricity, but how long would that last? It's God who allows the sun to rise every morning. So physically, God gives us the sunlight. Spiritually, God gives us Jesus, and Jesus is the light. And the Bible is trying to tell us that. We go back to John chapter 8, verse 12, and this time I'm going to read the whole thing. One moment. Okay. "Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life." Now, if we put this all together, going back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, the earth was without form and void and darkness. So guess what? Without God in our life, we are without form because we don't know who we are. We are void, meaning we are empty because we don't know why we are here. And the darkness, we're in that darkness because we have no purpose. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're doing. It is God who allows the light to shine, not just physically, but spiritually in our lives to help us see. And God lets that light shine through Jesus because Jesus is the light of life. With Jesus, you will be able to see who you are. The light will help you understand why. And the light will give us direction, which fulfills our purpose. So, if you're starting to sense the darkness around you, the only answer is to ask God. Ask God to turn on the light. Thanks for watching.